Welcome, my friends. Thanks so much for stopping by once again as we sample some more great tasting American craft beers with Dr. Dave. Fabulous indeed. Now, for our sampling pleasures and tasting delights today, we have one here from Marengo, Ohio, the Hoof Hearted Brewing Company. Now, this is the Zipper Ripper. Yeah, the Zipper Ripper. I don't know what that's all about. If you drink this, you might rip your zipper. Hey, I hope not. But this is described as a double IPA brewed with wildflower honey, and it checks in at 8.5% alcohol by volume. Now, the date stamp on the can indicates that it's 139 days old. Of course, that's my fault. When I get busy, I tend not to drink the beer, and sometimes it just sits out there in the fridge, and it is what it is. It is what it is. We got this beautiful glassware here that I picked up a few years back. I don't recall where I bought this, but it has a little indentation here. So when the beer hits that, it's almost like being an etched glass, and it will build up the head or foam, whichever you prefer to call it, rather quickly. So you got to take it a little easy until you get that first little bit in there. Then you can go ahead and let loose with it. Now, I'm not worried about this beer because I'm fairly certain this is a New England style IPA, and you can confirm that by the haziness of the beer. Unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever you want to look at it as, brewers are brewing more and more hazy beers today. I prefer the West Coast style myself. I like a good, dank, hopped up, bitter beer. But unfortunately, those are few and far between these days. Of course, we have quite a few breweries on the West Coast that are still cranking those out. Yeah. Unfortunately, though, like I said, man, fewer and fewer breweries are putting those out. Well, let's take a look here. We have a slightly hazy, it's not completely hazy, a slightly hazy golden orange color with lively carbonation flowing up from the bottom and a beautiful bright white head. Let's see what kind of aroma this produces. Picking up some sweetness, and I would surmise that that's from the wildflower honey. So before we drink this beer, we're going to thank the brewers at the Hoof Hearted Brewing Company outside Columbus, Ohio there for all the hard work they do into brewing each and every batch of beer. Many thanks to those brewers, and cheers to you at home. Oh, wow. Oh, now that's pretty darn good. Now, I wasn't expecting that. Ooh, that's really good. Let's drink some more. Cheers. That has a very lovely upfront flavor of sweetness, and I would say it's from the wildflower honey mixing in with the lovely malts. Man, but that's got a nice bitter finish on it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's quite lovely. How I wonder, it's often confusing to me how a beer can have such a myriad of aromas and flavors. And these brewers are really good these days. It's down to a science, and I do mean that. That's a science. Now, if you've never been to a brew pub, you should take a tour of one of your local brew pubs. There's a brew pub just about everywhere you look these days, unless you live in a very small state like maybe Wyoming or Montana, but they still have good microbrews there too. I tell you, Big Sky in Montana, and then we have, I forgot the name of that brewery just that fast in Wyoming. They have a couple of good ones in Wyoming, though. Oh man, this is really good. I don't give beers scores anymore, but if this beer were a student in my class, it would get 100%. It'd get an A plus, baby. Yeah. Oh man, that is really smooth and easy drinking, considering it's 8.5%. Now the head's not sticking around here, and that's because we have an adjunct in there. being the wildflower honey. But all you have to do is just agitate it just a little bit, and it brings that head right back up, and it's beautiful to look at, even better to drink. Respect this beer, though. Your body always knows what the alcohol content is, even if your brain doesn't agree. And I'm a pretty big guy. I'm not a lightweight, I tell you. It doesn't matter how big you are. You can be a professional football player. You can weigh 350 pounds, 6'6". The alcohol eventually is going to get you. Oh yeah, the alcohol is going to get you, baby. Oh man, I don't know if this beer is still available. A lot of times, Hoof does a one and done. Now, what I mean by that is it'll come out in April or May, and then you won't see it again until next April or May. It's a beer that stays out 4 to 6 weeks, and then they come out with something else. If you look at their website, you'll agree with me when I say that. So, this did come out in. The can says May, so I don't know. I have to look for this again after the winter time is over here in Northeast Ohio. I tell you what, man, I have all my beer delivered in that weather. Yeah, yeah, because I'm not going out in that snow. That's why my truck stays so nice after 30 years, man. Because I don't drive it in that nasty weather. Cheers to that. And there's plenty of places that'll deliver your beer. Now, if you think that $20 or $25 is a lot for a delivery charge, think about it like this: to get in your car and drive, especially with gas prices the way they are now, $25 delivery charge is not a lot of money, and you don't have to fight the crowds. You can just sit at home on your computer and press a few buttons, and that's the end of it. Yeah, you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, forget about it. And cheers. I better stop, man. I'm not gonna have anything to take a picture of. Because I always take a picture when I'm finished. Yeah. And let me put that down and put the can back up here one more time. The Zipper Ripper. And this is from Hoof Brewing out of Marengo, Ohio. If you can find it, by all means, I highly recommend it. Dr. Dave says life is short. Try new things like this beer. You'll be pleasantly surprised. And to that end, until we meet next time, here's wishing all of you the very best of goodbyes. And as always, cheers.